All right. Time now for This Week in Auto History.
Oh, yeah.
Conrad has turned the page and he's ready to go. And he pre-read it, and he's not going to make one mistake in this.
In 1905, the first aerial ferry for cars was put in operation over the ship channel from Lake Avenue in Duluth, Minnesota to Minnesota Point in Minnesota. And this literally was to allow the shipping to pass underneath. So you could be on that little bridge as it went up. The ship would go underneath, the bridge would come back down, and you'd drive off.
Oh.
Kind of an odd way to do it. Today, they've had drawbridges for years, but you were never allowed to be on it while it was up in the air.
Go down to Bolivar and take the ferry just to take the ferry.
I want to spit off that bridge.
And then in 1910, the Los Angeles Motordrome, the first speedway with a board track. So this was 5,200 feet long. So it was a mile long, and it was all 2x4 wood. And it had up to a 50-degree banking.
Wow.
And they said
50 degrees.
A driver could do 100 miles an hour and just take their hands off the wheel, and the banking would keep
centrifugal force.
Keep them safe in there.
Wow.
And this was built after the idea of the velodromes for the bicycle tracks in Europe.
Yeah, that's cool too.
Yeah, I thought, how odd was that? It was a mile in diameter, all made out of wood.
Well, the bicycles don't have brakes.
Right. And then Sig Heyerdahl drove the Wisconsin Special over 180 miles an hour in a one-way run at Daytona Beach. And then in
that car?
No, that's the Buick Y Job from Harley Earl. That was kind of the first concept car by General Motors. And it made its press debut this week in 1940.
There's Harley sitting on top of the car.
Yeah, don't scratch it. Don't scratch it.
And then he actually drove that as a daily driver in and around the Detroit area. Do you remember that, Jeff?
No.
In 1940, 1945?
No, that was no.
And then in 1950, Harley Earl was involved in the Futurama buses. I think there were 18 or 19 of those that drove around the country, and there was a car show built into them, and they'd all kind of wheel up. And I think, wasn't it Dave Kindig
Bitch and Rides
redid one of these a few years back.
Took him 2 years to build that.
That's This Week in Auto History.
That's it.